or tomorrow, see you in Bel Air. Senator Feinstein, show us that you care, or tomorrow, see you in Bel Air. Senator Feinstein, show us that you care, or tomorrow, see you in Bel Air. Senator Feinstein, show us that you care, or tomorrow, see you in Bel Air. Senator Feinstein, show us that you care, or tomorrow, see you in Bel Air. Senator Feinstein, show us that you care, or tomorrow, see you in Bel Air. Senator Feinstein, show us that you care, or tomorrow, see you in Bel Air. Senator Feinstein, show us that you care, or tomorrow, see you in Bel Air. Senator Feinstein, show us that you care, or tomorrow, see you in Bel Air. Senator Feinstein, show us that you care, or tomorrow, see you in Bel Air. All right, so thank you. Now let's switch mics for a little bit. Lauren Steiner, let me introduce her. She is a longtime activist. We met when we were organizing at Occupy Venice. She was a delegate for Bernie, and she is now working at the Revolution Los Angeles. So, Lauren, your turn.
Thank you. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So that's our Revolution Los Angeles. That's Bernie Sanders' successor organization. I moved to Los Angeles 30 years ago. So I've been able to observe Dianne Feinstein the whole time she's been in office. She's been liberal on some issues, gay rights, women's rights, gun control, but on issues where she's had to choose between siding behind working people versus corporations and the 1%, she usually sides with the 1%. She has voted for the Iraq War, where thousands of mostly poor Americans, because that's who fights in our wars these days, folks, have been killed, maimed, or afflicted with PTSD or traumatic brain disorders. She voted for the extension of the Patriot Act and the FISA provisions, allowing government to spy on us, and called Edward Snowden, who disclosed these programs, a traitor. She voted for the bankruptcy bill, where people are actually required to pay their credit card companies before they pay their child support. And she voted to fast-track the Trans-Pacific Partnership, the corporate trade deal, which has been called NAFTA on steroids. As an activist and organizer who fought the TPP since 2012, I was part of a delegation of 5 people who tried to meet with her staff to ask her to vote against giving Obama fast-track authority, which means that they wouldn't have been able to hold any debate, they wouldn't have been able to add any amendments, and Congress just would have given an up or down vote on this bad trade deal. So her staff gave us the runaround for days, forcing us to hold a rally outside of her office. While her staffer came out and told us he was taking down all of our comments, no sooner than I left the protest did I turn on my radio and hear a report that she was going to vote yes on fast track. Last year, a small delegation of us was able to get a meeting with her district deputy about the new DARK Act. That bill would have overturned, and in fact did overturn, Vermont's historic GMO labeling law that they were able to get passed despite millions that Monsanto and the Grocery Manufacturers Association spent against that. And as you know, they spent millions to defeat Proposition 37 here in California, even though most Americans of all political parties want to see their food labeled. This new bill would have required food manufacturers to put a QR code on products instead of the simple 5 words, made with genetically modified ingredients. We explained how only 33% of Americans have smartphones, how the QR code reader was an app that they'd have to use. Can you imagine a mother walking down a grocery aisle with a toddler on her hip, taking out her smartphone, going to that QR app, putting it at the barcode? I mean, it's ridiculous, as opposed to the 5 simple words. So the staffer wrote notes, nodded in agreement, and the next day, Feinstein voted for the new DARK Act. The problem with Senator Feinstein, like so many others in government, is that she takes money, lots of money, from lobbyists and corporations. In the case of the Dark Act, we discovered that she took $1,646,000 from Monsanto and other corporate agribusinesses. And it's not just campaign contributions. Feinstein is one of the wealthiest senators, worth $45 million, and her husband is worth over $1 billion, Richard Bloom. He's a real estate investor. In 2009, she introduced a bill directing $25 billion to the FDIC the day after the agency awarded her husband's company a contract to sell foreclosed properties at rates higher than the industry norms. Feinstein has also awarded her husband companies billions of dollars in military contracts for which she's been criticized. In 2006, she voted for the Postal Accountability and Enhancement Act, which requires that the Postal Service pay health benefits for retirees 75 years into the future. In other words, for postal workers who haven't even been born yet. No other government agency has this requirement. That is why the U.S. Postal Service, which was always in the black, is now in the red. And you might read that they were talking about ending Saturday service, closing rural post offices, and have been selling post offices right and left. And who has the exclusive no-bid contract to sell or lease these businesses?
Don't say her husband.
Yes.
Oh my God.
None other than Feinstein Husband Company, CBRE.
Wow.
And there are many other ties to corporate agribusinesses and other companies right here in California. When I was in her Los Angeles office for the Dark Act Citizen Lobby meeting, I asked Feinstein's district deputy whether we could get a meeting with her herself in the next 4 months, between August, when we were there for that meeting, and November, when Obama was going to be putting up the TPP in the lame duck session. I said, here's 4 months. Anytime she's here, I and a group will make ourselves available. And I was told that Feinstein herself does not meet with constituents except for 1 day a year in Washington, D.C. Exactly. And I said,
our California representative. Yep.
Unlike the corporations who pay lobbyists to work full-time walking the halls of the Senate and House office buildings in Washington, D.C., the 99% does not have the money or the time to go to Washington, D.C. to lobby our representatives.
That's right.
Yeah.
By the state.
That's why they have these local offices, and that's why they have town halls. And Dianne Feinstein has not held a town hall in the 24 years since she's been a senator. Last month, Bernie Sanders said, quote, "If you don't have the guts to face your constituents, then you shouldn't be in the United States Congress." That's what you're elected to do. Now, Bernie is now the director of outreach for the Democratic Party, even though he is still technically not a Democrat. And why? Because a recent poll found that he is the most popular politician in America. For his entire campaign, for his entire career, he has represented the interests of the working class and the middle class in this country, not corporations and the billionaires. So we are here to say, outside your re-election fundraiser, Dianne Feinstein, if you won't stop representing the 1% and start representing the 99%, don't run! If you won't stop using your government office to help your billionaire husband and your billionaire friends,